Welcome back, fellow visionaries, to Hidden Pages. Today, we are winding up for an extraordinary story of innovation, unwavering belief, and triumph over skepticism. We're talking about Hans Wilsdorf, the genius behind the legendary Rolex watch. When you think of a Rolex, you think of quality, prestige, and perfect timekeeping. But the story of its founder is a powerful testament to daring to be different and relentlessly pursuing a seemingly impossible dream. This very detailed and inspiring story about Hans Wilsdorf is crafted to ignite your own pioneering spirit. We'll explore his challenging beginnings and his early, audacious belief in a device that almost no one trusted, the wristwatch. We'll witness how he battled against prevailing opinions, invented groundbreaking technologies, and used truly innovative marketing to prove that his vision for a reliable timepiece worn on the wrist was not just possible, but revolutionary. Prepare to be incredibly motivated by a man who didn't just tell time, but shaped its future on our wrists. Chapter 1: Beyond Pocket Watches, a young entrepreneur's audacious idea. Our remarkable story of Hans Wilsdorf begins in 1881 in a town called Kulmbach, in Germany. His early life was marked by significant challenge. He was orphaned at a young age, losing both his parents before he was a teenager. Despite this profound hardship, young Hans possessed an innate drive and a keen intellect. After completing his education, he began his career in the fascinating world of watchmaking. He worked for a pearl importing company and later for a watch export firm in La Chaux-de-Fonds, Switzerland. This Swiss town was, and still is, the heart of the world's finest watchmaking. Here, surrounded by intricate mechanisms and master craftsmen, Hans Wilsdorf immersed himself in the complexities of timekeeping. It was during this time, in the early 1900s, that Hans Wilsdorf developed an incredibly bold and, at the time, highly unconventional idea. Back then, almost everyone carried a pocket watch. These were elegant timepieces, often tucked into a waistcoat pocket and pulled out on a chain to check the time. Wristwatches, on the other hand, were very rare. They were considered flimsy, inaccurate, and more like delicate bracelets for women than serious timekeeping instruments. Men certainly didn't wear them. But Hans Wilsdorf saw something different. He believed with unwavering conviction that the wristwatch was the future. Imagine his vision: a reliable, accurate timepiece, conveniently worn on the wrist, instantly accessible, and durable enough for daily life. People probably scoffed at him. A watch on the wrist? It will break. It won't keep good time. It's not serious. But Hans was not swayed by skepticism. He saw the potential for convenience, practicality, and elegance in this small, revolutionary device. Driven by this audacious vision, Hans Wilsdorf made a momentous decision. In 1905, at the age of 24, he moved to London, England. With limited funds but boundless determination, he founded his own company, Wilsdorf and Davis, along with his brother-in-law. His mission was clear: to create the best wristwatches in the world. He knew he didn't have the facilities to manufacture all the watch parts himself, so he began importing high-quality, small, precise movements, the intricate engine of a watch, from a Swiss manufacturer called Eglier. His London workshop would then place these movements into elegant cases, refining them into complete wristwatches. This was the very first step in building a brand that would soon become legendary, all because one young man dared to believe in the potential of a tiny, overlooked device worn on the wrist. Chapter 2: Forging a Name, the Birth of Rolex and the Quest for Perfection. With his company Wilsdorf and Davis established in London, Hans Wilsdorf faced an uphill battle. He was trying to popularize an item that the public largely dismissed, the wristwatch. People simply didn't trust them for accuracy. Pocket watches were the standard, seen as reliable, while wristwatches were viewed as mere fashion accessories. But Hans was absolutely obsessed with precision. He knew that for his vision of the wristwatch to succeed, it had to be undeniably accurate. He relentlessly pushed his Swiss movement supplier to produce smaller and smaller movements that could still meet the highest standards of timekeeping. He was determined to prove the wristwatch's reliability. A pivotal moment in this quest for precision came in 1910. After years of meticulous development and testing, one of Wilsdorf's wristwatches was sent to the official watch rating center in Bienne, Switzerland. What happened? It received the first ever Swiss certificate of chronometric precision for a wristwatch. This was a groundbreaking achievement, a formal declaration that a wristwatch could indeed keep time as accurately as a traditional pocket watch. Then, in 1914, another monumental validation arrived. Wilsdorf sent a wristwatch to the prestigious Kew Observatory in Great Britain. This observatory was known for its incredibly strict tests, usually reserved for large, highly accurate marine chronometers used by ships for navigation. The Rolex wristwatch was subjected to 45 days of intense trials, tested in 5 different positions in 3 varying temperatures. The result? It was awarded a class A certificate of precision, an extraordinary feat for such a small timepiece. These certifications were powerful proof that Wilsdorf's wristwatches were not just pretty, they were incredibly reliable instruments. However, Wilsdorf also understood that a great product needed a great name. He wanted a brand name that was short and memorable, easy to say and remember in any language, pronounceable in any language, so it could be a global brand. Sounded good, something that resonated with quality and precision. The story goes that in 1908, while riding on the top deck of a horse-drawn omnibus in London, a stroke of inspiration hit him. He later recounted that a genie whispered the word Rolex in his ear. He loved it. He felt it sounded like the quiet, precise winding of a perfect watch. From that moment, Rolex became the name he envisioned for his high-precision wristwatches. With the name established and early proof of accuracy, Hans Wilsdorf had taken the crucial first steps. He had a revolutionary product and a memorable name. But the biggest challenges, and his most famous innovations, were still ahead, as he sought to make the wristwatch not just accurate, but also truly robust and ready for the rigors of the modern world. His relentless pursuit of perfection was forging a path for a brand that would soon become synonymous with excellence. Chapter 3: Conquering the Elements, Rolex's Breakthroughs in Waterproofing. Even with proven accuracy, Hans Wilsdorf knew that for the wristwatch to truly replace the pocket watch, it needed to be durable. People were still skeptical, fearing that dust or, more commonly, water could easily damage the delicate mechanisms inside. This challenge became an obsession for Wilsdorf. He was determined to create a truly waterproof and dustproof wristwatch. Imagine the innovation needed. Standard watch cases had tiny gaps where water could seep in, especially around the winding crown, the knob you used to set the time, and where the crystal, the clear cover over the dial, met the case. Wilsdorf worked tirelessly with his engineers and suppliers to find a solution. And then, in 1926, a monumental breakthrough occurred. Rolex introduced the Oyster watch. This was a revolutionary design, unlike anything seen before. The Rolex Oyster featured a completely sealed case, thanks to three key innovations. A hermetically sealed case back, it screwed down tightly onto the middle case. A screwed-down bezel, the ring holding the crystal was also screwed down securely. A patented screwed-down winding crown, this was perhaps the most ingenious part. It literally screwed down like a submarine hatch onto the side of the case, creating a watertight seal. This was a game-changer. The Oyster watch was truly waterproof and dustproof, protecting the delicate movement inside from all external elements. It was like putting a tiny, impenetrable safe on your wrist. This invention immediately elevated the wristwatch from a fragile piece of jewelry to a robust instrument capable of withstanding real-world conditions. But how do you convince a skeptical public that your watch is truly waterproof? Hans Wilsdorf wasn't just an inventor. He was a marketing genius. He needed a dramatic, public demonstration of the Oyster's capabilities. In 1927, he found the perfect opportunity. A young English swimmer named Mercedes Gleitze was attempting to swim across the English Channel, a notoriously cold, dangerous, and challenging stretch of water. Hans Wilsdorf saw this as the ultimate test. He approached Mercedes Gleitze and asked her to wear a Rolex Oyster watch around her neck during her swim. What happened next became legendary. Mercedes Gleitze endured the grueling 10-hour swim through the icy waters of the English Channel. And when she emerged, exhausted but triumphant, the Rolex Oyster watch she wore was still working perfectly. It had survived the extreme conditions, proving its incredible waterproofing and resilience to the entire world. Hans Wilsdorf seized this moment. He launched a huge advertising campaign, proclaiming the success of the Rolex Oyster and featuring Mercedes Gleitze. He bought the entire front page of a leading British newspaper, the Daily Mail, with the headline, "The Wonder Watch That Defies the Elements." This single event catapulted Rolex into global fame, proving to everyone that the wristwatch, specifically the Rolex Oyster, was indeed a reliable and durable timekeeping instrument. His innovative thinking, combining groundbreaking technology with brilliant marketing, truly defined his legacy. Chapter 4: The Watch That Never Stops, Innovation Beyond Expectation. After the triumph of the Oyster watch, Hans Wilsdorf didn't rest on his laurels. He was a man driven by a restless desire for continuous improvement. He always asked, how can we make the wristwatch even better, even more convenient, even more reliable? His next major innovation focused on the very act of winding a watch. Traditionally, wristwatches had to be manually wound every day by turning the winding crown. This was a small inconvenience, and sometimes people would forget, causing their watch to stop. Hans Wilsdorf envisioned a watch that would wind itself simply by the motion of the wearer's arm. And so, in 1931, Rolex introduced another groundbreaking invention, the perpetual rotor. This was a revolutionary self-winding mechanism. Inside the watch, a semicircular weight, called a rotor, was attached to the movement. As the wearer moved their wrist throughout the day, this rotor would swing freely in a 360-degree motion, transferring energy to the mainspring and automatically winding the watch. This was a brilliant solution. The Rolex Oyster Perpetual, combining the waterproof case with the self-winding mechanism, meant that as long as you wore the watch, it would keep running, powered by your own natural movements. It eliminated the need for manual winding, adding incredible convenience and enhancing the watch's reliability, as the mainspring was always kept at an optimal tension. This innovation became a standard for automatic watches across the entire industry. But Wilsdorf's innovations didn't stop there. He continued to push the boundaries of what a wristwatch could do. In 1945, Rolex launched the Datejust, the first self-winding wristwatch to automatically change the date in a small window on the dial at midnight. This was another step towards making the wristwatch an even more functional and indispensable tool. Throughout the mid-20th century, Rolex developed a range of professional watches, designed for specific demanding activities. The Submariner for diverse, waterproof to even greater depths. The GMT Master for pilots, allowing them to track 2 time zones at once. The Explorer for adventurers, tested on Mount Everest. The Milgauss for scientists, resistant to magnetic fields. Each of these watches was a testament to Hans Wilsdorf's vision. To create not just beautiful objects, but highly functional instruments that could withstand the most extreme conditions and serve professionals in their demanding fields. He understood that innovation was not a one-time event but a continuous journey. His relentless drive to improve, to solve problems, and to create watches that truly served their wearers, cemented Rolex's reputation as a leader in precision and reliability, making it a brand synonymous with pioneering spirit and enduring excellence. Chapter 5: A Timeless Legacy, Hans Wilsdorf's Enduring Vision and the Spirit of Rolex. Hans Wilsdorf lived a long and impactful life, passing away in 1960 at the age of 79. His achievements were monumental, but his foresight extended even beyond his lifetime. In 1944, he established the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation. This was a truly unique move. Upon his death, he bequeathed all his shares in Rolex to this private charitable foundation. What does this mean for Rolex? It means that Rolex is not owned by shareholders who demand profits above all else. Instead, it is owned by a foundation. Any profits made by Rolex are largely directed towards charitable causes, as well as reinvested back into the company for research, development, and maintaining its unparalleled quality. This ensures that Rolex remains a private entity, protected from short-term financial pressures, allowing it to stay true to Hans Wilsdorf's original values of uncompromising quality, long-term vision, and continuous innovation. What are the enduring, powerful lessons we can draw from Hans Wilsdorf's extraordinary journey? Believe in your vision, even when others doubt. His most profound lesson is his unwavering belief in the wristwatch when almost no one else saw its potential. He went against the current, trusted his intuition, and ultimately transformed an entire industry. Never let skepticism derail your pioneering ideas. Obsession with quality and precision. Wilsdorf was a perfectionist. He knew that for his vision to succeed, his watches had to be the absolute best at what they did, keeping accurate time and being incredibly durable. This relentless focus on quality became the bedrock of Rolex's success. Innovation is key, but it's a journey. He didn't just have one great idea. He constantly innovated, moving from accuracy to waterproofing, then to self-winding, and then to specialized tool watches. He understood that remaining a leader requires continuous improvement in pushing technological boundaries. The power of story and marketing. Hans Wilsdorf was not just an engineer, he was a brilliant marketer. He understood that people needed compelling proof and a memorable story. The Mercedes Gleitze swim was a masterstroke, turning a technical feature, waterproofing, into a captivating human achievement that captured the world's imagination. Long-term vision over short-term gain. By establishing the foundation, Wilsdorf ensured that Rolex would prioritize its core values and long-term excellence over immediate financial returns. This is a powerful lesson in sustainable leadership and brand building. Resilience in the face of challenge. From being an orphan to battling industry skepticism and technical hurdles, Wilsdorf constantly faced and overcame challenges. His life is a testament to the idea that perseverance and the pursuit of excellence truly pays off. Hans Wilsdorf didn't just invent a watch, he created a legend. He transformed a delicate accessory into a robust, precise instrument. He built a brand that symbolizes ambition, reliability, and timeless achievement. His story reminds us that true innovation often comes from those brave enough to see possibilities where others see only problems, and who possess the unwavering dedication to turn those possibilities into a tangible, lasting reality. The spirit of Rolex, forged by Hans Wilsdorf, continues to tick, inspiring generations to reach for their own standards of perfection. In clear, simple terms, Hans Wilsdorf was a smart boy who became an orphan. When he was young, he had a big, new idea to make and sell wristwatches, even though almost everyone used pocket watches and thought wristwatches were bad. He started his own company in London. He worked very, very hard to make his watches super accurate. In 1908, he invented the name Rolex. Then, he invented the Oyster watch in 1926, which was the first truly waterproof watch. To show how good it was, he got a swimmer to wear it during a very difficult swim across the English Channel, and the watch worked perfectly. This made Rolex famous around the world. He also invented the perpetual watch in 1931, which wound itself by simply moving your arm. Hans Wilsdorf believed in making the best quality watches, always inventing new things, and never giving up on his vision, even when others doubted him. His company is now owned by a special foundation to keep his vision of quality alive. His life teaches us to believe in our ideas, work hard for perfection, and always keep innovating.